My fellow flames, the 2.5 Wuthering Wave story, in my opinion, was the best written story Kuro Games has ever produced and released in a Wuthering Waves patch. The story got to me. It tugged on the heartstrings. It invoked emotions for not just me, but millions of players all around the world playing this story patch. And I do honestly think this is the best story we've had in Wuthering Waves writing-wise. It really did do a lot for me. It got to me. It really did get to me. It literally brought me to tears. We're going to be talking about the story today, so there is going to be spoilers within this video, so spoiler warning right now. If you do not want to be spoiled on the 2.5 story, click off the video, wait until you've played the story, and then come back to the video and then see what I have to say. We're going to be discussing what I liked and what I disliked and what I thought overall. Without further ado, let's get into this. So, the Wuthering Waves 2.5 story kicks us off in Septimon, and we're basically talking to the Black Shores, and they're telling us what could be wrong with Cartethia, and then we basically have a few different discussions and a few different back and forths with Cartethia, a member of the Black Shores, and Rover ourselves. And then there is an energy signature which indicates that the Thronodian is still alive, or a part of the Thronodian is still alive. Yes, the Thronodian is still not quite finished with us yet, so then we venture off and we basically go to see what this energy signature is, and how we can basically finally extinguish the final, light limb, the light of the Thronodian. How we can finally extinguish the remnants of the Thronodian. Then we come into contact with Fenrico. Fenrico's ship basically goes past us, and he picks us up and he basically talks to us, and he shows a little bit of aggression. He instigates with us a little bit, and he basically says anyone that doesn't follow what he's doing is an interloper, is a heretic, and basically needs to be extinguished, needs to go away somewhere. They need to be vanquished because they're false followers, they've been corrupted, whatever, the religious stuff that's going on in Renacita. Then a big giant wave crashes the ship. And then as we are drowning, as we are falling to the depths of the ocean, Froolova opens a portal, drags us through the portal, and we end up in the new underwater temple map. And then there's a little bit of conversation with Froolova. She's injured, she's being chased by the Order of the Deep, and she herself has been trying to fight them back, and she herself is trying to find a gem that holds the secrets and holds the power and holds remnants of the Thronodian's power. That connects a lot to the Septimon arc that we played in 2.4, and now it's basically wrapping up some of the loose ends that we had in 2.4 in 2.5 story. Long story short, we go through the different parts of the underwater temple. We see flashbacks of Froolova. Froolova actually has a really well written backstory, and we actually find out why Froolova does a lot of the things that she does. It's heartbreaking, it's emotional, it tugs on the heartstrings. It really adds a lot of depth to the character of Froolova. We find out that there was essentially a town that Froolova grew up in that was destroyed by a meteorite, and she is now trying to bring them back, to revive them. That is the reason why she joined the Fractures, to revive and bring back the town's people and try to resurrect them, because that was her family, her friends. She lost everyone. It was literally a Your Name reference. Anyone that's seen Your Name with the meteorite and the city and the town, it was right out of Your Name. Literally, everyone was having a good time. There was festivals. Everyone was having a really, really fun time. Everyone looks up. There's a meteorite. At first, they think it's beautiful, but then the meteorite crashes into the town and wipes out everyone except for Froolova. Froolova, within that moment of the meteorite striking the town, goes through an awakening, which is the reason why she has her resonance abilities, which is really, really, really insane to me. It was a heartbreaking and well-written story for Froolova. It was essentially a story about Froolova, but with the overall objective being find Fenrico, destroy the remnants of the Thronodian, and you and Froolova, Rover and Froolova, have a temporary alliance. You both don't trust each other. But you have a temporary alliance where you basically go, okay, we have a joint goal here to find Fenrico, find this gem that contains remnants of the Thronodian and powers and this other elemental stuff. We need to go after that gem. That part is evident, that we both need to stop Fenrico and get this gem. Regardless whether what we want with the gem is different, I want the gem for good. Froolova wants the gem for her own selfish gain and for the Fractidus, though that's before we find out the reason why Froolova actually wants the gem, because the whole reason why she's doing all of this for the Fractidus is to get the village people back, to revive them, to see her family and friends once again. And we find out that she created a sonorosphere using her resonance ability, where the souls of the village people are trapped within that sonorosphere, and every now and then she goes within the sonorosphere and basically checks on them, and she's promised them that she will indeed bring them back to life. The problem is, the way she has tried to bring them back to life is a very corrupt and very twisted way. She's brought their souls back. She's brought the reverberations and the remnants of the souls back. However, they are tacit discords. The soul is trapped within the body of a tacit discord, which essentially makes them an echo with a temporary or a very hollow soul. And she can never really bring them back fully. It's impossible for her to revive them fully to what they used to be, because the whole point of an echo and a tacit discord is that the reverberations of lost and trapped souls. This was evident because if you remember in 1.0, you know, Tic Tac, Whiff Waff, Zigzag, and whatever the other little childish miniature echo is, there's theories, lore, and stories around those particular echoes being the lost and trapped souls of children within the bodies of those small tacit discord bodies. Hence why when you're going around 1.0, you can see them dancing, you can see them marching with each other, playing with each other before they attack you when you get into their vicinity. It's basically exactly the same thing here. Froolova's tried to bring back the people of the village that was destroyed, but unfortunately it's just remnants of their souls trapped in a tacit discord's body. She will never be able to bring them back fully, which is very emotional, very sad, because she is so convinced, because of the manipulation of the architect. Yes, we find out who one of the leaders of the Fractidus is, not an overseer. The leader, one of the big leaders of the Fractidus, is called the architect. We don't know who the architect really is, because the architect is a shape-shifting entity that can basically take on the form and shape of anything it so heartily desires. So we see like an NPC of the architect. Like the architect looks like an NPC. He's in a suit, he's got slick back hair, you know, he looks like a very high maintenance, high stature person. However, we hear that the architect can manipulate those around it and transform and basically shapeshift into whatever it sees fit, and whatever it sees is the most relevant to the situation at hand. And the architect basically manipulates Froolova to join the Fractidus, because the architect knows Frolova's past and goes, I can help you bring them all back. All you need to do is join the Fractidus and help us achieve our goals of a new world around the Thronodians and tacit discourse, blah 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 blah. Froolova agrees because of the promise that the architect made, saying that he will help her bring back her lost family, her friends, everything. So the reason why she's turned evil or gone down the dark path is not because she herself is inherently evil, it's because what she's trying to do is actually a very good cause, but the way she's doing it is very callous and very morally grey. It's for her own gain, it's for what she wants and her own goals. She's not doing it for the Fractidus, she's doing it for herself, but she's going along with the Fractidus' plan to achieve what she wants, you know? Also, we see old school Rover. Backstory Rover, OG Rover before the 20-year gap is there. He actually visits Froolova. Froolova and Rover have a unique and specific past. When Froolova plays a melody at a festival to all of the people in the hall on the stage, old school Rover, before memory loss, is there, and they actually have a very heartfelt conversation, and Rover actually makes her smile, makes her feel good, and he makes a very important promise to return to her, to see her once again, to see her play once again, to see her music, to make her feel nice. Granted, Rover cast away his memories, and now he could not fulfill that promise, which also adds on to the reason why Froolova left to join the Fractidus, because Rover never fulfilled his promise, never kept his promise, and also the fact that combined with her ideals of wanting to bring back the people of the town, it kind of created a resentment for Rover, and it kind of gave her a purpose to go down this dark path, which is very, very, very interesting. The writing in the story was insane. The writing in this story was absolutely insane. Also, we see that when Froolova uses her resonance ability, she begins to overclock. Also, the fact that she does not heal herself when she uses her resonance abilities and when she does fight. And we find out she's actually very injured and losing a lot of blood. And when she passes out, we see like flashbacks of her life, her origin. And when she comes to, Rover is actually healing her. And they sort of help each other, and it is very cute. It is very sweet. There is a liking to one another there, and I think there is a familiarity there for both of them, since they both knew each other in essentially each other's past lives before Froolova became Overseer Froolova, before Rover lost his memories. So there is a very good chemistry between them. Though it's untrustworthy, it's very, very nice to see. It's a very good dynamic. Very good dynamic. As the story goes on, we see more about Froolova's past. We see more about Rover thinking, oh my god, like I think I know this person. What the hell's going on? We need to find this gem. Abby's involved in this story, not a tremendous amount, but Abby does show its face a few times within this story, which is really, really nice to see. Again, Abby's insertion within the stories thus far has been very, very well placed, because it's not like a Paimon situation where she's there all of the time explaining everything that you just heard. Abby's there that adds on to the already written story. She doesn't repeat things. She adds on to what's already there, which is really, really nice to see. Froolova, you get to use Froolova in this story. She's so cool, so badass. Really, really fun to use. Froolova is such a good character, a busted character, a character that's really going to change the meta going forward. And I think a lot of you that summon for Froolova is going to have a good time. If you're starting the game now, Froolova is a must pull, because she is going to be a very good DPS and off-field DPS. So when you build a team, she's going to be the best of both worlds. Sub DPS and main DPS, she's going to help your team a lot. I recommend you summoning for her if you are starting the game and don't know what to do. I think Froolova will be a very good pickup for you. At the end of the story, we come face to face with Fenrico. Now, there's other parts of the story that I haven't touched on, because I don't exactly want to go over everything from start to finish. I want some of it to be a surprise for you in case you haven't started the story and stuck around anyway. There's really good elements here, good dialogue, good writing, good character development, good world building, and lots of different lore. Before we meet Fenrico, just before we meet Fenrico, we go through these hidden doors in Froolova's life. Scar returns, fully voiced, fully in action. We're going back to Huanglong soon. I'm telling you now, we're going back to Huanglong soon, and I'll tell you why. They reference both the Overthrax and Leviathan in the same conversation. They are trying to resurrect all of the Thronodians, and they really are doing their best to bring them all into this world, into the mortal realm. The Overthrax is still in its egg. It's still hibernating. Now, I know a few things that I won't reveal, but I want you to experience them yourself. There's some dialogue between Scar and Froolova which either indicates 1.0 story or it predates the 1.0 story. It's going to be very interesting seeing how the next couple of patches unfold. I'm very excited, but it's very nice to see Scar again, fully voiced and back in action. When we go to fight Fenrico, the fight is epic, it's cinematic, it's very impactful, and it's filled with twists and turns. The fight itself is not the most difficult, but not the easiest as well. It's a very unique, it's probably the most unique boss fight we've ever had in the game. Very, very cool. The cutscenes in this patch are top notch. I don't think Kura Games have given us better cutscenes in quite some time. They really did cook. Every patch they are innovating, evolving, and improving. And 1.0's cutscenes still hold up this day, but if you compare 1.x's cutscenes to 2.x's cutscenes, specifically 2.4 and 5, 2.4 and 5 is like a feature-length movie. This really did feel, 2.5 specifically, felt like an actual anime movie. Wuthering Waves could easily have its own anime, and could easily have its own anime movie saga, and it would do so well. I could see it happening in the future. I could see the, a Wuthering Waves movie or Wuthering Waves anime be developed in the future. Maybe Kuro Games are already thinking of that down the line. We shall see. Second anniversary anime announcement. Once you defeat friend Rico, this is when the twist really happens. He gives up the gem. He gives up the gem that contains the power of the Threnodian, the power, the remnants of the Dark Tide, everything in this gem. Everything is riding on this sacred gem. This is what Rover's after, it's what the Fraxis is after, it's what everyone is after. You then have to fight Froolova. Now, it's not an actual fight, it's in the cutscene. They basically fight. Rover tries to convince Froolova to come to the light side. Please, he's like, please don't do this. I don't want you to do this. Please, for the love of God, you don't need to do this. There's other ways. But then Rover also tells her, you really cannot bring them back to life. He tries to basically snap her out of it, go, look, I know what you're doing. I'm sorry about your past. It's tragic, but what you're doing is wrong. What you're doing is wrong. It's never going to succeed. If anything, it's going to make things 10 times worse. Froolova doesn't believe this. Froolova doesn't like this. They have a bit of a skirmish in the cutscene. And then it's a really good back and forth. It's like a dance. It's a really good back and forth because you can tell they don't really want to harm each other. But Rover's like, fine, you leave me no choice. And Froolova's like, same here, basically. We throw our sword through Froolova, knocking her off balance. Cristoforo arrives, takes the gem, dips out of there, lets Froolova fall off a cliff into the ocean, into this watery chasm of death and doom. We run over to the edge, but then we see backstory again. We see a very chilling, very emotional backstory of Froolova, and then we see Frolova's soul, indicating her soul, her reverberation. Meet the children of the town. Meet the people of the town. See her parents again. And she willingly, her soul, not her body, her soul, or whatever you want to call it, goes with them willingly into the afterlife sonorosphere, indicating that she's dead. They did the very thing I said would happen, and people in my comments were telling me I was delusional for doing. Now, there's drama within the story. There's like a conflict. People are angry at Rover. People are pissed off that they killed Froolova. Now, Froolova isn't canonically dead. Her body is in I think it's stated that her body is in stasis, or her body is in permanent hibernation. But it's like, that's such a copium thing to do. In terms of storytelling and narrative, she's dead. It's an ending for Froolova. She has what she wants. She's with the people she loves and cares about. You can actually go within the sonorosphere, talk to her, and she asks you to leave. She doesn't want to leave. She doesn't want to talk to you. She has everything she needs. She's created the perfect world with her family, with her friends, with her, and she's going to remain there until they choose to maybe bring her back in the future. Now, she can be brought back. They have left it open for her to return in some form. But what they've done with Froolova is essentially close off her story. If we see Froolova, it will not be for a long, long time. Frolova's where she wants to be. Froolova, narrative-wise, is dead. Rover is sad, but Rover accepts the fate and he goes off and does his own thing. It's emotional. It tugged on my heartstrings. It brought me to a plane of emotion where it caused me to literally be brought to tears. And I haven't cried in a story. I have not cried in a story since Encore Story back in 1.3, 1.4, whatever it was, 1.3. 1.3 story made me cry. 1.3 Encore Story made me cry. This story made me cry. It was really, 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 really good. The best written story, not the best action-packed story. The best written. For a story, the writing is almost, I'd say 9 out of 10. It's not quite a 10 out of 10, but my goodness, this elevates the stakes and this adds a lot of pressure to other gacha games because I don't think other gacha games' writing is going to come close to this for a long time. Genshin Impact? Absolutely not. HSR? No. ZZZ? No. Wuthering Waves' writing is phenomenal. Now, I've played other gacha games where the story is this good. I'm bringing Black Beacon into this. The Black Beacon story is one of the best well-written gacha stories I've ever played. If Black Beacon wasn't a gacha game and was a AAA game with the same story, it would be tremendous. People would love that story. Silver and Blood, the Silver and Blood story, one of the newer gacha games that recently released. Very well written, very smart. I like the gacha game story that they have. Another very well written story. Gacha game stories are increasingly getting better. With every new gacha game, with every new installment, with everything coming out, their writing and their storytelling is getting better. Wuthering Waves at this point in time is at the pinnacle of this. Here. It's right here. You've got Black Beacon kind of in that threshold. I think touching on that threshold, maybe even level with the story, but I'm talking about the story, not the game, not the gameplay and everything else. It's strictly story. 2.5 story, Black Beacon story. Slightly under that, in my opinion, Silver and Blood story. Slightly under that, you've got HSR story. Then you've got ZZZ. Then you've got Genshin Impact all the way down here. You know, you see what I'm saying? But at the moment, these gacha games up here that I've placed up here, they're good storytelling, but Black Beacon and especially 2.5 of Wuthering Waves is up here. Phenomenal. 2.5 was chef's kiss, creme de la creme, sugoi desune, an amazing story. Brought me to literal tears. Rover had an exceptional amount of depth, an exceptional amount of character building. We now know, we saw glimpses of past Rover in present Rover. This Rover took no shit. This was not Gathering Wives. This was Rover. I've had enough. Rover was seriously like, I've had enough. I'm at my wit's end. I've run out of patience. I'm now going to do everything I need to do to save my friends, my family, Rinasita, Septimont, Mount Furman, Honglong. He's like getting to a point now, depending on what she or he, depending on who you've chosen as your Rover. But in my case, Mel Rover, he's had enough. He's like, I'm done playing. I'm done. He's like growing in power, but also he understands the gravity and the weight of certain situations. And you can really see that. He tried to save Froolova, but when he realized she was unsavable, and Froolova basically, when Rover was trying to reason with him, Froolova went like this. Froolova literally went, go fuck yourself. Respectfully, go fuck yourself. I'm not changing for anyone. Froolova is remaining a villain. She's remained a villain or a morally grey antagonist, and it's not a Gathering Wives simulator. We are saved. Oh my god. The fact that we're going back to a darker storytelling path is so good, and their writing is getting so much better. I love this story, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. Friend Rico turned good. Friend Rico was never the bad guy. He was being manipulated by the Thronodian, which everyone knew. Everyone from Life Lessons to Ufi to me to other lore creators like Ryuku Sensei, even like went and researched and actually had his own theories. People knew that the Order of the Deep was being manipulated by the Thronodian. Friend Rico turned from heel to babyface. He turned from baddie to goodie and gave up the power and basically saved everyone from the Black Tide. He basically snapped out of the Thronodian's control. It was really, really nice to see. Really, really, really nice to see. Amazing story. Honestly, one of the best, if not the best, Wuthering Wave story at the moment. Brought me to tears. I have lots of theories of what's going to happen in the future of the story arcs. I'm going to be doing separate videos about this, but my goodness, was this amazing. The brand new map, incredible. The new puzzles, very engaging. The new enemy types, very fun. The new boss being Friend Rico, who I don't think is going to be a hologram anytime soon because of the way that boss fight is structured. But if they do, very, very cool. Very cool boss fight. And just the voice acting was incredible. Oh my god, like everything about this story patch was incredible. Yeah. Everyone that's saying that Wuthering Waves' story is whack, or the storytelling wasn't good, or it's Gathering Wives, or whatever, this is going to change your mind. Anyone that is kicking off and crying that is not Gathering Wives anymore, grow the fuck up. This is storytelling. I literally said the Firaxis is going to portray, like, for the Firaxis is going to see that Froolova is irrelevant and cast her aside, which they did, because Christopher literally came in the portal, took the gem, and went, yeah, see you later, Froolova, you can, yeah, go piss off now. It was incredible. It was incredible. It was such a twist. I didn't expect that to happen. I was like, oh my God, they abandoned her. They abandoned her. Incredible. But anyway, that's my overall soft summary of the story. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you all in the next video. Take it easy and have a good rest of your day. Incredible story. Absolutely incredible. I'm excited for the future.